the Spear Ditto, and both these both these characters are low force, so you're going to be trading relatively evenly for the most part. And all you have to really worry about is those Kaya signatures. And on the other side, we have Impala, the world champion, the San Diego champion. He hasn't really had I don't want to say the best record because he gets top 8 every single time, but he hasn't been getting the top 30 placements needed to enter these Royales. So I want to say he hasn't been having the best record for himself in these online tournaments, and I'm really hoping to see if that could change for him today, and we can get him out of one of the Royales.
That's going to be the most interesting factor, too. And just looking historically at the recent DreamHacks that Impala was playing in, pretty much he would only play 2 different stages. He would dominate on Apocalypse, but the weaker stage that he would play a lot has been Miami. And this has been more of a 50-50 for him in terms of just winning out Miami stages. But right now, early damage was applied against Impala, doing a really good job holding on. But Phazon, in the deep ledge guard, unable to get back onto the stage. A quick down air from what was a kind of a rough start to this first stock. Impala retains that lead.
Really good option select from Impala there. You're seeing that weapon throw come out, just kind of force Phazon back, pushing back a bit. And as I'm saying that, another good option select from Phazon, this time going for the reverse read off the sideline to the double down line recovery. Getting that KO relatively evenly, keeping the game in a good state, and the pace between these players is just trading back and forth. Phazon opens on a good stock, Impala has a good stock, closes his off, Phazon's right back, fighting back evenly, closing that one off. And now they're just kind of tapping each other with these spears. We haven't really seen much of the other weapons yet, right? Impala has that bow in the kit and Phazon has that sword, but right now it's the spear game. They're both throwing back and forth. They're trying to get these reads off, seeing who can get the first big interaction win to push these stocks to higher than orange.
Yeah, and Impala right now, at least for this first match, is giving a lot of respect for Phazon. Kai is such a huge ledge guard heavy legend when it comes to just signature potential. The poking, like you mentioned, for the spear has been so good, but it's mostly Impala waiting for Phazon to overextend in terms of just movement and looking for a punish. The nair was good, but the recovery didn't connect. Phazon's looking for a punish themselves with that spear, and honestly speaking, despite the big defense differential between both these legends, it feels like a near 50-50 game.
Yeah, and that's where that force is going to come through. Yes, Kaya does have higher defense, but she's also not hitting Hattori for too much. It's nothing Hattori has to worry about, right? So seeing as Hattori is going to get the lower end of the trades just because of that defense gap, it's not going to be too much. It's not like playing against a Terros where you're not only are you not doing that much damage, but you're also taking a lot back to the face. And like we said, that one stock from Impala got taken and he's instantly back, keeping it even, takes the bow with his downline recovery, gets downline recovery on his bow, gets that stock off of Phazon. And now they both have weapons in hand. These were the weapons we weren't seeing too much of, right? The spears are gone. Now it's the bow versus sword matchup, and we're still seeing that slow pace trading. Impala trying to use that movement that he's known for, getting that pressure off, and now he's running with it. The downline stare, the nair follow up, and then the side air. Gets the ledge trap with the down sig, and it's the Impala special, baby. When he picks up this bow, the momentum, the movement has to be something you have to respect. And Phazon, he needs to find an answer now. The end light's not going to be enough, and you can see him gunning to trade the weapon away.
Impala hasn't really changed their overall strategy between the bow and the spear. Phazon relegated back to the right side of that stage once more. The attempted ledge guard overheating the down air, trying to stuff Impala down for game number 1. It didn't connect. This is Phazon's chance to claim that damage back. They've been good about converting back these stocks, but deep red with so little defense on the Hattori pick, Phazon has to be very careful, but he's not letting up any of that pressure. Downsig doesn't connect. A side air to confirm game number 1, but given how that first stock had gone, Remy, I was expecting to see a little bit more from Phazon in the latter half of game 1, but Impala was just remaining that same patient gameplay, waiting for Phazon to overheat and make those mistakes, especially in that second and third stock when we saw a lot more bow gameplay come out.
Now, looking at Impala's stats for that game on the spear, it's 203, and they were like we said, they were trading evenly on the spear. For the most part, the first and second stocks just spear gameplay from both of them. But it was when that bow came out, and we really only saw it in that latter half of that game. It did way more damage than the spear because he just had way more pressure with it. He was able to control the setting. And now Phazon also had the chance to play secondary weapon, the sword, and we really saw nothing out of it. Maybe it was he wasn't comfortable on the sword, or maybe Impala's bow gameplay was just too much for him to handle. Whatever it is, he needs to figure it out going into the second game. Maybe we could see a character swap because it is Phazon. He does have that wide pull, but the spear is doing work. It's keeping up with Impala's spear, and that's no small feat.
No, absolutely not. And in the last few DreamHacks, Impala has only lost Lions one time in a set. And I believe that was against Godly. So again, a little bit more ground and control to work with here. Impala putting extra pressure on this time around. Phazon had a lot of impact with that spear in the first stock, but it's the sword to confirm the first against Impala. But we saw this similarly happen in game number 1 too, where Phazon had that early lead, and then immediately Impala was there to clutch it back. So I want to see what this bow can do right now. Phazon remaining purely on the ground in the middle of the stage, does not want to go to the ledge, but ultimately that leads to his downfall, getting hit by the recovery from Impala.
Now, Phazon, you can see him trying to slow and steady try to figure out this bow gameplay. He kept the sword, but he could only really land one hit there. So Impala's not going to have too much trouble evening this up. But as I say, a beautiful spear string, sidelight down like Sarah, just to add on even more damage to Impala's HP bar there. And you can see Phazon now slowly but surely running away with the stock before Impala can get too much answer back.
Yeah, the bow's struggling.
Impala finding some hits. The game is not too out of reach for him. He's only 1 or 2 hits behind, but as I say that, Phazon continues stacking up hits. The down air, second one's going to be there too, and the jumps are all gone for Impala as Phazon finds a considerable but not too far gone lead in this game.
Yeah, this sword is putting into work right now for Phazon, just able to get inside past the hurt box that Impala can bring out with either one of their weapons. Impala has to play patient here. That extra defense needs to come through right now. The Phazon's backing away, giving a lot of space for Impala, trying to set up for those signatures, unable to find the connection. And again, this is a game of punishes right now for both these players. But that being said, Impala's being patient, still waiting to find the anti-aerial against Phazon, looking for that ledge guard as well. A down air seemingly out of nowhere converts that second stock away from Phazon to, again, when we consider the defense, a near even game for game 2.
Such an aggressive option on that edge guard, kind of reminiscent of what Phazon went for with his sword on the first stock, where it's just like, all right, I'm on stage and all of a sudden I'm off stage doing a ground pound, and stuff like that is always going to be good. That's the kind of edge guards you see more in NA, right? In EU, they kind of go for these calculated edge guards where you can see them set it up years before. In NA, it's just kind of like, we'll let you touch the wall and then we'll choose when we want to go off, and sometimes we won't even go off. But that edge guard was years ago, and now in this moment, Phazon has robbed the game away from Impala with a relatively clean stock off of the back of that giant spear string. Side light, down light, into the recovery, gonna take him off the top, and we're going immediately into the map bans for the next game. You were talking about his record on Fortress Alliance, but this time Impala has taken it off the board.
Yeah, but now we're swapping back to Apocalypse. I'm sorry, first time seeing Apocalypse here in this set. And Impala has a crazy huge win record between all the past few gigantic tournaments here on this stage alone. We haven't seen Phazon or anyone swap off just yet. And going back to Phazon, at least in recorded history, he hasn't played a lot of Hattori recently. It's been mostly Val, a little bit of hints of Mordex and Koji on top. Do you think this is just a hard counter against Impala, bringing out the spear?
No, I think this is just what he's been playing. If you've ever taken a chance to go watch Phazon stream or kept up with him, this is just the pick he's decided that he was going to go into Summers with. So seeing him switch off, the only thing I could imagine he switches to would be that Lucian, which is the other thing he's been practicing for this, but it's probably just going to be the Hattori show, even against Impala today.
It's working out really well here. Impala again, we've been able to see so much of just punish potential, but not a whole lot really coming out here. Neutral Sig's not going to connect. Another signature from Phazon again, just looking to make sure they have the safest options possible. But Impala's feeling so good here. A javelin throw from the spear sends Phazon off stage, and there's no shot of a recovery. Impala's back in the winner's seat.
Phazon with a very, very rushed recovery there. He got sent off and just instantly started putting his options into the air movement rather than trying to go down or aim for that wall. Probably off the back of him being worried about Impala's bow down air edge guard from last time, right? So he tries to switch it up this time, goes high instead of low, and Impala calls him out on it with that weapon throw. Very good placement on that. And now we're on this talk. Phazon trying to close off, but the side sig is not going to be enough from that far away. One pogo to the head is going to do it, and the stocks are once again even. So, I mean, if you told me anyone was going to give Impala his run for his money on this winner's bracket today, and you told me it was Phazon, I would be very surprised, because even Phazon has admitted himself that he's not been doing as crazy as he wanted to do in the one side of things, right? He still had that 2's placement with Cody Travis, but when it came to the 1's bracket, you can just see off his recent history at these LAN events and at these onlines where he got 33rd in Brawl, in DreamHack Dallas, right? 17th at San Diego, and a series of 9th places online. That's not what we really know Phazon for.
I mean, like you said, though, we've been seeing Phazon practice a lot of Lucian and Hattori, at least on his streams, and it's really paying off here. How many pogos was that? 3 in a row, just stuffing Impala down to that blast zone. This is the largest stock gap we've seen thus far this whole set.
Weapon throws are going to be traded, but Phazon's the one that ends up on the negative end of that, ending up with no weapon, but he's going to pick up a new spear almost immediately. And Impala now trying to play this slower game, trying to space out Phazon and get these punishes in so he can even up the stock and look to close it.
There we go, Impala, trying to find the setup for the recovery. Sends Phazon into the sky, but there's no signature follow-ups at all. Another pogo from Phazon has been such a great conditioning factor against Impala. Impala doesn't know when those pogos are going to come out. They've been at least a little readable off stage, but on stage itself, it's been a very different story. Impala on the ledge guard, though.
Going for more pogos. He's been given a second chance of life on this stock. The recovery not taking him out, that side air also not taking him out, and he's making the most value out of it. The double side light read gets the down light stare, and now it's almost a full stock gap.
And this is the safety stage for Impala, at least historically in the last year. Usually the one that helped turn the tides and bring things around at the upper levels of a tournament. But Phazon's giving Impala a run for his money. The practice paying off here. A side light, a spot dodge used so early for Impala, but he still gets back on stage. A deep dive with the ground pound from Phazon, trying to make sure this goes to another game, but no. It's only the recovery then to bring us to game 4.
Phazon taking it up 2-1 against Impala, putting it at the set point. All he needs is one more victory to take this for himself, and you can see it with a 2-stock in that game. The spear is doing so much work. Look at the sword damage. You can't see it because it's non-existent. 65 damage only with the sword that game. The spear was doing all the work. It was getting the big pogos. It was getting the big double sidelight into downlight reads. And it's just looking like he's in another weight class compared to Impala right now. Impala gonna take a second to take a breath and maybe even get a quick game restart in. But Phazon, he's locked in here. He's sitting comfortably waiting for this next game to start.
So I know this sounds like a silly question, but do you think... Never mind, we just got our question answered inside the lobby. I was going to ask, is there an iota of a possibility we see Impala play something that's not Kaya? Which sounds like a really wild question, but considering the fact that now Impala is in the lower side of this set, we might need to see a change brought out.
Yeah, we saw a change in skins. Because that's what Impala does. When he feels like the Kaya is not working out, it's because of the skin he's using, and the new drip has been acquired, so he's gonna go back in. The only thing that's gonna change is his skin setup, because we're going right back to Apocalypse as well. Now, but to really look into your question and answer it, Impala is not going to be a player you see switch off of his character very often. Now, in ranked, we've seen some iotas of the Ember come out just for fun sometimes in the ranked queue, but even then, most of his ranked games are also going to be on this Kaya and Phazon, taking an early dive down, the unarmed downers. Impala can't confirm it, and now both players are fighting for stage presence back up. Phazon, with a missed input, he did not put his recovery in fast enough after the neutral air, and he's going to take that fall almost for completely free.
What a wild turnaround. Impala, again, now in the lower side of this bracket, absolutely need that first stock to go in his favor, and he does. All unarmed, by the way. And Phazon, I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to do his best not to be on the ledge anymore in case that happens again. Impala does have the bow, though, so it won't be the straight down airs like we saw before. Phazon, though, with the setup on the spear, brings it back off stage. You have to be careful, though. Impala has a lot of options with the off-stage potential. Down airs, ground pounds, pretty much anything, especially with how low Phazon is on the second stock. But this is such a big turnaround from Impala. Like you mentioned, that small break that he had in between games 3 and 4 was absolutely gigantic, and that's another stock gone from Phazon. He only has one left before we go to game 5.
Now, knowing Phazon, an opening like that really is going to be detrimental to how he plays the rest of the game out, right? Now, I'm not trying. He's not really one to get tilted and lose the entire set, but he is one to lose the first 2 stocks of a set like that and just start thinking about what he wants to do the next game, and that's probably what's going through his head right now as Impala just completely runs away with this one.
See, this is the Impala APOC that we have come to know and love so much, but now Phazon is just trying his best to take one stock off, just a single stock here, and even then, it doesn't seem like that might be a possibility. A good javelin throw once more, and Phazon's like, yeah, no, this is not going to work out. A 3 stock from Impala to bring us to game 5 for our first cast today.
Yep. Not too much to say about that game, right? We saw the first stock go just kind of I bet it's sad to say, but the best thing to say about it is that it was unlucky. It looks like he
Yeah.
tried to get that nair off and chase dodge. Maybe it didn't come out. Maybe he didn't press it fast enough. But something definitely went wrong there because he also had his recovery to use. I know he was trying to save it, but your dodge just wasn't available. It looks like maybe he tried to turn around after that nair. A lot of things you're just gonna have to ask him yourself. But now we're back on Fortress of Lions. He's got one last chance in it, and he can't have another match like that.
Yeah, I think banning out a Puck immediately from Phazon's side is a great option here. High blast ceiling when it comes to a stage like Lions will at least enable Phazon not to worry about the recovery from the bow. Not as much as before. We did see a few different times when Phazon was just not able to find any sort of landing potential and get caught out by that recovery. But also for offstage play, this might make Impala play much more grounded than we've seen other games in this series, or at least since the last time we saw Lions. But we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. The shorter ledge there is going to make things a little bit less viable for either one of these players to go deep off stage and find those recoveries. A good setup though from Phazon. Double spears between both these players. Impala playing so patient, waiting for Phazon to overextend and make a mistake. But at least the setup from Phazon once more. A little bit of a dip dive into the ledge of the stage. A good pogo, though, to help almost confirm. Impala has that control once again. He just needs one good recovery to get the lead back for Game 5.
Phazon needs to be careful here as he looks to get this KO off Impala. It's definitely going to be harder for him than he thinks, right? Ooh, goes for just the downlight Sair, no downlight end sig, nothing flashy, and it does end up getting the knockout off. Now it was kind of questionable because of the walls of Fortress of Lions. Maybe it could have been detrimental, but he ends up closing that stock off and he's immediately back on the spear, tacking on damage from the next one. But Impala with the wake up end sig on bow is going to instantly say, no, you don't even get the chance of edge guarding me. Takes that stock off, primes another bow for himself, and he's right back on to this neutral game, getting these nairs on Phazon.
And we really haven't seen a lot of signatures come out from either one of these players. The only times that we've seen impactful sigs connect from Impala have been the ones where Phazon's get caught off by. Phazon's practiced and watched the gameplay of Impala here, and you can tell a lot of the setup that Impala's trying to employ, Phazon is not giving that room at all for the starting attack for an Impala. But Anair's coming out here. The anti-air might be the benefit here from Impala to rack up this damage against the Hattori. Neutral sig doesn't connect. It's stopped off immediately by Impala's bow. More grounded control once again, though. Phazon pivots immediately to the side and chases down Impala with the sword, and it's racking up that damage. Phazon just needs this buffer room right now. He gets caught up in the recovery and loses his weapon. He has nothing now, and he needs to recreate history what Impala did at the first stock of the last game, but instead he picks up the spear and gains the lead back. Impala has one stock left in this set.
He's on his winner's bracket set here, and now he's going to pick up the spear, get the side air off, not going to get the knockout just yet, and he's applying more pressure on the offstage. The down air is going to come through.
This is it. Game 5. One stock left for each of these players, completely clean as well. It's almost a near reset, and Impala's already starting off strong. Chip damage after chip damage against Phazon here, completely starving him out of weapons. No matter what Phazon wants to do, he's trying to find any sort of initiation when it comes to unarmed. But even then, Impala's giving themselves the extra space needed to make sure Phazon cannot set anything up. But as I say that, though, the spear reclaims control back over to the stage. Impala having to play a very dangerous game with this bow. The sweat beads nearly dripping all the way through, but he gets back onto the stage.
Such an aggressive recovery option from Impala, just instantly going for the recovery instead of trying to touch the wall or anything, and it actually works out for his benefit. But this game could literally not be more close, right? It looks like they're trading at the exact same HP. They both have the spears in hand, and Phazon, he's gonna be the one to get that punish, but Impala trades him coming back to the stage. The pogo, he goes for the aggressive side air, and Impala punishes him as hard as he possibly can. The downlight ground pound is going to seal off Phazon's game, send him into the loser's bracket, and Impala, you have to be biting your nails there because it could not have gone more close to you for you. That beautiful reversal, we're going to see it here on these replays on that edge guard. Phazon gets the momentum forward after that side air, and after he misses, Impala's just like instantly